What's up traders, welcome to Failure to Displace. In this video we're going to take a look at the London trading session on EURUSD and how we were able to catch this continuation trade bagging 3R, taking us towards a 15-minute fair value gap and optimal trade entry of yesterday's range. Let's jump into the charts, have a look at the analysis and see how we came up with this setup. We'll start our analysis off here on the 15-minute time frame just to see where we are in price action. You can see yesterday was an inside day, so we failed to take Monday's low or Monday's high. So we're basically consolidating inside Monday's range at the moment. We've had a news drop yesterday at 8:30 in the morning, and then price has tried retracing that full move. So that's something that we see quite often. I've mentioned that before. Optimal trade entries, fair value gaps, order blocks that are all created during a news release are often fully ignored, which has been the case. New York PM session has pulled back. It's failed to take out yesterday's low. We're essentially creating equal lows here above yesterday's actual low. So there's good liquidity below us. However, what I'm seeing on this 15-minute chart is we are having a pullback. We've essentially got a tight range here that was formed from the New York PM session, the transfer over to the Asia session. Asia then aggressively pulled up and is now consolidating on top of that range. So we have a second range that's been formed here. And now prior to our London session opening up, it looks like we are displacing again higher. So we're basically repeating this move again. So we'll see how price reacts above the Asia high to see if maybe we're going to get a continuation, pull back further into this range, seeking liquidity before we can take a run at yesterday's low. If we are seeking liquidity, we have the PM session high, which would be a good point. We also have, which I feel would be a better draw on liquidity, this 15-minute fair value gap, which is at the optimal trade entry of this pullback. So from the high put in the New York AM session to the current daily low, so this whole pullback, our optimal trade entry is inside this 15-minute fair value gap. So that would be a really key area to start looking for reversals, in my opinion. So we could be potentially drawing higher, seeking liquidity, taking out all of this buy-side liquidity before we take another run at the lows. One thing to take note of is we do have pound news at 2 AM. So the CPI on the pound at 2 AM. So although we're trading euro, the pound news can affect the euro. They're very, very tightly correlated. So I'm going to be wary of taking any trades before the news release on the pound at 2 AM. Let's drop onto the 5-minute. The 5-minute is even giving us a clearer indication of bullish price action coming into the London session. We can see this fair value gap has been respected and then strong candles, strong displacement above the Asia high. So we'll see if that continues. We'll keep an eye on these areas for a potential reversal, or see if we can get in some kind of continuation trade to take out this higher liquidity before we expect the reversal for yesterday's low. So we do appear to be consolidating above Asia's high at the moment. Let's keep an eye on where the news drop is. So the next candle is the news drop. So this is the red news folder now. So we'll get a pullback. We've respected that fair value gap again. So price action is respecting bullish fair value gaps at the moment. So I'm more interested in looking at a continuation trade unless we get up into a premium. So just to clarify that, from this range, premium is above 50%. When we're in a premium, ideally we're looking for sells. When we're in a discount, which is where we are now, ideally we're looking for buys. So this current situation with this continuation model setting up, we would be looking to get into a buy to take us up into a premium. We would then offload our buys in a premium, potentially at this 618 area, to then sell back into a discount. continue on with the price action. Nice, it's a strong reaction through the PM session high. What we can do at this point is we can pull a fib from our session low. So our session starts at 1 AM. This is my trading window, so I would look at pulling a fib from this low to this high to find out where the premium and discount of this leg is, looking for a continuation trade, ideally looking for an entry around optimal trade entry. If we do get that, I will be trading the optimal trade entry on the 1 minute time frame, because this is a pullback, so I'll be looking for some kind of reaction at the optimal trade entry on a 1 minute time frame. Currently, while we are on the 1 minute time frame, we can see we do have a nice fair value gap here, and we do have an order block as well. So these consecutive down close candles are an order block with a fair value gap around optimal trade entry, certainly within a discount of this range as well, and then coming back to the top of this consolidation range as well. So we are rejecting from there, having taken that liquidity. So there's no short trades here, just in case anybody's thinking that you would be going short here. The break of structure for a short trade is all the way down here. So this is the last swing low that created this swing high. So this is just internal structure. I wouldn't be using this to base a short trade on. But looking at a continuation trade, I'm keeping an eye on this area here. So what time are we at? 55. So we're just coming into the new hour now. So this is a good time for looking for a reaction. Top of the order block has been tapped. 50% of the fair value gap is being respected. We do have a break of structure, which would be at this point here then. So our swing high for a potential reversal based on this fair value gap being respected and this order block being respected would be there. Nice. Come down, we have tapped the 618 exactly. So we filled this entire order block, filled this entire fair value gap, still respecting the order block. And a strong buyback. So we've closed above this. So we have got a break of structure here now, confirmed with the candle body closed. We've got volume imbalances at this point. Volume imbalances can be treated the same as fair value gaps. So there's the potential there for an entry from there. Let's just see if we get an actual fair value gap. We do. We get a fair value gap here. So what have we got at this point? We've got an order block, which would be this bottom one. We have this, I believe, would be our breaker block. This is the high that led to the swing low. I wouldn't class that as the breaker block because this is within this bearish candle. So I would think that this is the breaker block. I may be wrong on that, so do correct me if I am mistaken. But that would be the breaker block that I will be looking for. So potential reaction, order block, breaker block, fair value gap. Looking for a long position then. Stop loss will be below that low, and you'll be looking to take the continuation up into the optimal trade entry for, as it happens, a nice 3R. So we've left another fair value gap there. I wouldn't be interested in taking this fair value gap because this fair value gap is outside this break of structure leg. So in accordance with the 2022 model, as I understand it, we were looking for fair value gaps within the break of structure leg. I would class this as the break of structure leg. This is outside of that, so I wouldn't take that fair value gap, but I would take this fair value gap. Another confluence, we are actually in the Silver Bullet hour as well. Okay, nice. So we've come back, we have tapped that fair value gap and we have respected it. We've tapped the top of the breaker block I identified. Oh, coming in deeper. Okay, a bit of consolidation, a bit of drawdown at this point. So we're respecting the breaker block area, we're respecting this bottom order block, we're respecting the 50% of the initial fair value gap we found. Okay, and we've got a nice reaction there. So we're pulling out now. Back into that breaker. So into the new half-hour candle, and then we get a large engulfing. We've not taken this low, but it's very, very tight. So not easy price action to be trading here. Ultimately, that has been respected, which is good to see. The cleanest price action I've ever seen. We'll just tap the bottom of the fair value gap. There is optimal trade entry. So there is your 3R eventually hit. And so not the most comfortable trade there. We did have quite a large pullback into the, again, original entry before taking off. What was quite nice to see is the start of the new half-hour candle. So the 330 candle essentially had a large engulfment at 334 and then price finally continued on. The entry that we took was there, 307. 315, we had volume at 15, so you can see when the 15-minute candles are starting, this is when the volume is coming in. So this is just something I'm taking note of, something I've learned from Stacey Burke trading. Ultimately, the start of the new half-hour cycle is what gave us the push, and then we've had essentially an hour's worth of price action pushing us up continuously to our take profit. And then we're up to current price action. So we have hit that. We've had a break of structure here now. So potentially we're getting a reversal on. That's a break of structure there. So there's a potential reversal now from that 15-minute fair value gap, looking for lower prices. But that was the continuation trade in the London session after a news driver on the pound, pull back into optimal trade entry, and eventually, after a little bit of drawdown, we got that drive up to the 3R to a 15-minute fair value gap. So that was basically a silver bullet trade. Was that one? We had identified a draw on liquidity, and we took the fair value gap, taking us to that draw on liquidity. So yeah, really nice trade, potential 3R there if you managed to get the same analysis as me. Hope that was useful. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy that analysis. If you have any questions, again, leave it in the comments section down below. I'll always do my best to try and answer where possible. And if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate having everyone on board. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.